Oh, hey there. Now, maybe you're wondering, when is the best time to buy a house? Because interest rates are up and down, and what in the world should we do? When is the best time to buy a house? And I consulted with my mortgage guy, and he said this, and I agree with him. The best time to buy a house, get out your calendars, is now. Now, here's why. Okay, let's say the interest rates are high, and then they go back down. Buy the house now, refinance, save some money. Let's say that they're low. Good, you got them while they're low. How do we know what they're going to do? We don't know. People make predictions. It doesn't really matter. The point is this: if you're paying rent right now, it's cheaper to buy a house. Okay. And I remember when I was very young, let me think, I was 22, and I was talking to my then fiance's grandmother, and I said, I'm going to wait to buy a house till I can pay cash for it, because I don't want to have to pay all the interest. And she goes, but you're paying rent. And that's all she said. She kind of looked at me like, how dumb are you? And I was like, well, apparently dumber than I thought. So let's just say that you're paying $2,000 a month in rent, which is fairly average. I realize there are people that pay less and there are people that pay more, but let's just say it's $2,000 a month. You're paying $24,000 a year. Every 4 years you pay $100,000 in rent, basically, okay? $96,000. You do that for 8 years, you pay $200,000. If you put that towards a house, you'd be way farther ahead. If you're waiting to, like, oh, I'm gonna wait till the interest rates go down, well, you're still paying interest, right? And let's imagine this, right? Let's just say that things are going to get worse. You buy it now, well, it's better. You think rent's going to go down? If the cost of everybody else goes up, if the landlord has to pay more, you got to pay more. That's how it works. He's got to make money. He or she has to make money. If you bought a house 4 years ago, you probably would have thought, this is pretty expensive. I feel like this is risky. But now everything costs twice as much. So guess what? Your house is worth twice as much. You paid half as much for it. It's worth twice as much. When you go to sell it, it'll be worth more, okay? Here's the way houses work, okay? The economy is, they try to make it very complicated. It's not that complicated. Here's what it boils down to. If you took, I don't know, an ounce of gold, and you were like, I could buy this many pieces of bread, or this many horses, or this much land in ancient Egypt for this much gold, no matter how much it's worth, right? Like, it was worth a nickel and now it's worth $1,500. I don't know what it's worth, but whatever it's worth right now, you can still buy the same amount of bread and the same amount of horses and the same amount of land, roughly, that you could in ancient Egypt, right? It keeps up with itself. Like, you're going to work, and the people that make a little bit are going to be able to afford a little bit. They got to group together. They got to make it work somehow, right? The people that make more are more wasteful with their expenditures because they're like, I've got disposable income. It doesn't really matter. The point is this: if you put your money in the bank, it will not keep up with inflation. If you put your money in a house, it will keep up with inflation. So, if the price of everything doubles, good. Your house is worth double and you've kept up with inflation. It's very important. That being said, okay, if you need a good mortgage guy, my friend Terry Bennett is an excellent mortgage guy, and he can get you taken care of, and I mean quickly. He has done I don't know how many loans for me. In fact, he used to be a realtor, and he helped me find this house, which is a colossus, and I won't tell you how much I got it for, but let's just say this: I'm way farther ahead. It's worth probably 12 or 15 times as much as what I originally paid for it, and I've lived in it for 13 years, okay? So, it's a good deal. That means that you've got equity. That means this is how you build wealth. I don't know anybody who has a lot of money who doesn't have real estate, who doesn't have houses or land or something. Also being said, I do have 3 houses for sale right now. One of them is in my neighborhood. I would love to have you as my neighbor. Let me tell you what kind of a neighbor I am. If you need something, I'm here to help. No questions asked. Don't worry about it. If you need help from anybody, we have a community here that everybody is basically hardworking blue-collar people that are like, yeah, we'll help you out. We've got tools. In my neighborhood, we have electricians, we have deck builders, we have fence builders, we have roofers, we have myself, which is everything builders, we have lawn guys, we have all kind of people, and I know them and I love them, and I'd love to have you in my neighborhood. I also have a house for sale in Burleson and one in Rockwall. And I'm building another one in Burleson and 10 more in my neighborhood. So if you're the least bit interested, call Terry Bennett, get your finances worked out, see what you're pre-qualified for, and let's build you a house, all right? Stop being poor.